At this point, the UI was really coming together for the lobby. I can join as a host as well. Everything works as far as joining. However, the thing is, when I join as a client, I have to join one after the other, like this right here. If I don't, it'll get stuck, which we'll see in a bit. But for now, we can see the UI. Ready Up doesn't really do anything. The chat doesn't work yet. It actually still doesn't work at this point. It's not really a core feature, so we might pass that off to someone else or try to do it later. We can leave the lobby and then we can rejoin, of course. We'll see here now there's 2 out of 4 players, and we can rejoin there, and that works. So it's really cool. It's working really well, and if the host leaves, everyone gets quit out. And overall, I'm liking the UI. So at this point, I'm working on the usernames, and I try to name every client here, and I have the host start, and then I have the clients join. And this is where I first ran into a loading bug where the clients would get stuck loading if I tried to join, bang, 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 3 people tried to join at the same time, you'd have issues. And I think a lot of games that go with just this straightforward, join and then join the server run into this issue and maybe don't know it because they don't ever try to join all at once. But I ran into this issue because I did try to join all at once, and you'll see that here. Now, the issue was I needed to, when the player clicks join, throw them in a queue and process those players one after another. And so I'll do that here soon. So now I've implemented that queue, and the host can start a game, and then all the clients will be able to join one after another. Even if they all join at exactly the same time, they'll get thrown into a queue and processed one by one. You'll also see that I have a change character button here. That's going to be coming up. Doesn't have anything there for now. The naming system needs some work, so we're going to work on that next. But you can see here, all the clients are loading in, but they slowly, fully load in one by one. Each client needs to be fully updated before the next one can load in, but it works. So at this point, I started working on the usernames and saving the profile data from the main menu over to the lobby when they load in. So I have to save the file and reload. However, when I started doing this, I found that the clients, even though I can join them one after another at this point, the view doesn't get set. And this was the beginning of some networking nightmares I had to work through and eventually solve so that it works. So now we've gone back and looked at the naming and profiles, saving and loading. And it works. However, locally there's some bugs because I have to do some clever things with the save file name, the save slot for each client. Otherwise, it tries to load the same file and it'll overwrite things. So you have to name the clients 0, 1, and 2 in order for the saving system to work correctly. So you can see, even though I named these clients client 1 and client 2, they load in with 1 and 2 because they load with those files by default. Just so I have a way of testing my save system locally, theoretically this would work if every client was on their own computer. Now I'll be able to test that here shortly with my team members and see if that is in fact the case, and if not, we'll have to fix it. Um, but yeah, the you can change the name once you're in the lobby. You can change the name client one. That works. Ready Up and change character still don't do anything. You can see here client 2 came in as 2, and you can overwrite it there with the set username button. So even if you do set your username back in the main menu, you can set it here as well. Chat is also still not working again. We'll probably come back to that later if we do it all. We might just end up deleting it, but I thought it looked nice. But yeah, this works with a few local bugs. So now we have pretty much everything we want with the UI and the menu system and lobby system working. What I've got here is like 6 or 7 different clients, and I'll try joining so that you'll see if I join more than 4 people, the people that joined after the first 4 are going to get kicked, which this is a byproduct of using that queue. It was a really easy way to implement this because the subsystem, the online subsystem that I'm using at least, doesn't do this by itself. But you can see there that the last 2 players that joined after the first 4 got kicked. Now there is a bug here that sometimes if one of the players that got kicked later tries to join, it won't let them, which we'll see. You can see here, since we have 4 players in, there's no servers found there for that client that's looking for lobbies because this lobby's full, it doesn't show up anymore. Now, if this client leaves and one of the ones that got kicked tries to join, you'll see that it fails to join. It only fails sometimes. And honestly, this is a bug I just might leave in because, sometimes you have to restart a game. I mean, that happens with AAA titles. I'm not too worried about it. Maybe I'll go back and fix it if I have time, but I gotta move on. I gotta get to actual gameplay. So you can see here though that the another client can load in, and this is a bug that happens very rarely where the UI doesn't show up. Again, I don't feel like tracking this bug down right now, but I'll load up another client and have them join, or even this first client join back again, and the UI shows up. That UI not showing up only ever happens like 5% of the time. So it's going to be a really hard bug to track down. Honestly, I'll probably just have to read through my code. So I'm loading up another client here, and you'll see that with this other client, I can again join once I leave the lobby with one of the other clients, and there's only 3 in there. Now there's a spot, so if I go play and I search for a lobby, I'll find one, even though these ones can't get in because they've been kicked. That's probably not too hard of a bug to solve. I'll probably be able to fix that, but I'm just going to move on for now. But you can see I can join with multiple clients leaving, joining, and if the host leaves, everyone gets kicked. I don't feel like implementing a if the host leaves, the host changes, because you'd have to save everything, switch the host, travel all the clients, load the save. It'd just be messy. And I mean, it's doable, but I'm not going to do it right now. So we're just going to move on with the gameplay.